Hi everyone. Today video is on running a background job or a task in ASP.NET Core application. Okay. So hosted background task workflow means to create a background job or task in ASP.NET Core application, then the class should inherit the Microsoft.extensions.hosting.background service. Okay. Microsoft.extensions.hosting.background service is an abstract class that contains overridable methods like stop async and execute async. Okay, stop async get executed once our normal ASP.NET Core application stops. Okay, and execute async method gets executed once our normal ASP.NET Core application starts. And it is an abstract method, which means it must be implemented in our background job class. Here we can write logic to run our particular job at regular intervals of time until ASP.NET Core application stops. Means from the ASP.NET Core onwards, we can run a background jobs along with our ASP.NET Core web applications like MVC application, Razor Page application, or Web API application. Okay, we can host a background job as well along with our normal ASP.NET Core application. Okay, so when to use this kind of hosting means hosting a background job along with ASP.NET Core application. Okay, if our ASP.NET Core generates some files and we have to delete them at regular interval of time. So generally we have this kind of scenario, right? Like cleaning up the folders or files. Okay, in that case, what we will do, we will write a separate solution for cleaning up those files as a separate background job. Okay, but like those kind of scenarios, we can directly write our logic as a one job inside of our ASP.NET Core application itself. Okay, and another case is if we have lot of shared code. In that case also, we can directly implement our background job along with our ASP.NET Core application. Okay, so let's jump into do a small demo to understand how the background job works along with the ASP.NET Core application. Here I have created a web API application and with the latest target framework that is .NET 6.2. Okay, now let's create a folder like jobs. Inside of it, let add my job class. Okay. Okay, this is my plain class. Now to make it a background job, we have to inherit background service. Okay, if you go to definition of this background service, and it is coming from the Microsoft.extensions.hosting. And inside of it, we can observe an abstract method like execute async. That means we must implement this class into our application, and this contains our job uh, running logic. Okay, and here we have another method which can be overridden, that is stopping. So here we can write some log so that we can identify that our job is stopped along with our ASP.NET Core application. Okay, here there is another method that is start async. Okay, don't override this. Okay, if you override this, execute async won't work. If you want to use only execute async, don't override the start async method. Okay. Now let's implement our execute async abstract method. Okay, so here is the starting point. Once our application is started, okay, then immediately this method gets executed. So here we have to write our logic for implementing our job. Okay, so let me create a small method. Think that is my job logic, which should be run for every 5 seconds. Okay, we can apply timer here. Okay. Here for our simplicity, I will just log some console here. Okay. Okay. Now I want to run this job or a logic every 5 seconds. Okay. For that, let's declare a variable like timer. And now let's set the timer to run our job. Okay. New timer. And here I can call do work. Okay. Null and time span 0. And here I can specify time span for days or seconds or months. We can specify here. I can specify like for seconds, 5 seconds for my demo purpose. Okay. Let's also write a console here to determine that execute method is initially executed on starting our web API. Okay. Yes. And now let's also implement our stop async method so that we can understand our job gets stopped on stopping our web API. Okay. Now we have implemented a small job here. First, we have to uh, register with a host in the program.cs file. So here in program.cs file, builder.service.add hosted service. Okay. Like this, we need to register our job. Okay. So here we can register n number of jobs like this. Okay. You can register, but they should be registered with the head host service. Okay. If you have two more jobs, you can register like this, like two, three like that. You can register a number of jobs. Okay. Now, if we run our application, we can observe whether our background job is running along with our API or not. So let's run the application. Okay, here you can see Swagger, my API is running. If I go to terminal, okay, see here, execute method is logged. Okay, this method we have written some console log, right? So that we can see that means when our application started, our job also started. And here you can see job running every 5 seconds. That means our method also running. And if I scroll down, we can see our do work method logs. For every 5 seconds, we are going to see that our method is running. Okay. Now, if I stop the application, I'm clicking stop. See, application is shut down. This message is from our API. But here you can see job is stopped on API stops. That means this method also invoked on stopping our application. So that's how background job can be hosted along with our ASP.NET Core application. And here, so I have mentioned, right, when we have a shared code between the job and the normal API, this kind of background job is helpful. So, but this job is a continuous running process. So how to consume the scoped services, something like that here, like a scoped DB context, anything scoped inside of our application. So we can consume that. How we can means. So for that purpose, I have created a services like test service. Okay, one dummy method here, just console logging. Okay, and these services are scoped services. Okay, I have registered them as a scoped services. Now the thing is, I want to consume them into my job. Okay, so to do that, it is very simple. Let's create a constructor, and inside of the constructor, let's inject iService provider. Okay, this will give all dependency injection related things. Okay, Okay, I have injected the service provider. Now let me change the do work method. Okay, what I will do using where scope equal to service provider dot create scope. Okay, now from that scope, I want to get my test service instance, right? So scope dot service provider dot get required service and specify the interface, that is our test service, and invoke the method here, do something. So call do something method. Okay. Now again run our application and understand whether the scoped services can be consumed from our job or not. Okay. So application is up and running and we can see executing something from to something from test service. Okay, that means I'm able to consume the scoped service into my background job. Okay, so that's all about hosting a background job inside of the Asp.NET Core application. I hope this video has delivered some useful information to you. So if you like my video, please support me by subscribing to my channel. Soon we are going to meet with a new video. Until then, signing off.